This video is for entertainment purposes only. Junior God by Miss Spearman, how you doing? Warless Awaken. I seen the title and instantly tuned in. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi. How y'all doing? Hey. Hey, Elder Artist. I saw your comment you left in the group chat. That was hilarious. Shamanic Alchemist, what's going on, baby? That title though. I'm doing good. I knew that title was gonna get y'all. High vibes, high vibes. Vaughn Two Wise, what's going on? I am the creator of all I know, the sins here. I've been cleaning up the clothes, dream chasing. Been waiting for a live. Mama, when I have enough money, I gotta come get a reading. Well, come see me, baby. Ancient One, yow. What's going on? The way my fingers tripped over the app trying to get on this live. All right. Man, let me tell y'all something. That butt whipping that boy, I gotta spit the gum out. That butt whipping that boy, Jake Paul received. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all who that AJ character is, okay? Let me tell you about that dude. First of all, I knew as soon as I saw that brother, I said, oh, Jake shouldn't have took on this match. This is a whole Annunaki he's about to go to war with. A very powerful Annunaki at that. And I'm looking at this dude, and I'm looking at Jake, and I'm looking at this dude, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't gone. I feel like he was playing with his food. I feel like AJ was playing with his food. Okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck 50. I feel like AJ was playing with Jake Paul. He made it last, to go so many rounds. Had to have. Because really, when I saw the previews of this thing, and I first laid my eyes on that dude, I said, oh, Jake Paul don't know what he's getting himself into. This is not going to be one of those fights. I see where this is getting ready to go. Yeah, he is definitely, he represents the Grays. Yes, and Draconians can look like us and look like them, but in the Grays case, he definitely represents the Grays. I don't even know why he played himself like that. I watched the clip when they was doing the interview with Cameron, and dude was talking about, I'm going to take your soul out of your body. Right then and there, I just would have ended it right there. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this fight. This is not the fight for me. Yeah, no, I don't think that. I want to keep my soul intact. I need to keep all of my soul. Every fragmented piece, darling, you can have that. That'd have been all it took for me. Seeing that big ass Annunaki, the dude was even talking like an Annunaki. He was even talking like an Annunaki. If you go back and look at the clips on this video, on his Instagram page, and you listen to the things that he's saying, and this brother's spiritual, so he's like tapping in, and he's literally saying certain things like, yeah, I see that's how the energy's moving. And that right there, see, this is what I mean when I say about Caucasians, and this is no diss to them, but I gotta say this. This is what I mean when I say about Caucasians should be going over their head, because if that would have been any normal person of color, and he would have said that in a match, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm going to need to call in an army to come whip your ass. I'm not fighting you. That's not happening. And I want you guys to understand something. First of all, Anunnakis are very hard to kill. Okay, very, very hard beings to kill. And they are exceptional at warfare and combat. It's very hard to defeat them in any type of warfare and combat. I'm telling you that right now. They're the nicest to ever do it. Okay, you gotta outthink them. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a problem on your hands. Even with me saying that, that's gonna be a problem. Okay? Yeah, then Logan tried to take a Shane at the end. He damn sure did. Yeah, that reptilian tongue thing, that wasn't going to work. First, let me break some things down to y'all. You guys first got to understand that Dracos and Anunnakis and Greys, that war has been going on for millennials of time. Let me just say that, okay? Anunnakis don't care for Greys, and they don't care for Draconians. They don't care for them, even the fallen ones. But they will team up for a cause, as long as they know that they're going to benefit. And 9 times out of 10, the Anunnaki is going to benefit from it for the most. Okay? It's always going to be them being at the top of the food chain. I want you guys to understand that. Just like I told you guys as far as how this whole thing went down, as far as what happened, on this side of the actual plane, you guys got to understand that it was the fallen Anunnakis that started this whole thing from the very beginning, and it's been them, and they've been at the top from the very beginning. This was never a thing where they were never at the top. Okay? The Greys, the Reptilians, the Draconians were working for them. I want you guys to understand that. Okay? I just told y'all, when it comes to combat, they can't be played with. Okay? They can't be played with. One of the realest out here. What's going on, fam? That man was too big to not be activated. 3 Eye Atlas wanted to watch Jake Paul fall too. First of all, that's cap. 3 Eye Atlas is a hoax. That's cap. Okay. But I just wanted you guys to understand what you were looking at. So when you look at it from that perspective, that was the Anunnaki moving against the Greys. That's what that was. That's a change of guard here. Okay? Change of guard. Okay, Jake Paul did his little thing or whatever and got his behind mollywop by an Anunnaki. The Anunnaki could have dragged his ass all down through that ring, but he's a professional I think he's an Olympic gold medalist too, I think. Yeah, he's a professional boxer. He's not to be played with, but he was already psyching Jake Paul out in the mind. And that's how Anunnakis play too. They love doing mind games. They like playing mind games with folks, okay? They love breaking you down just from that perspective alone. They don't even have to actually place their hands on you. It's all a mental game for them. So I'm seeing this dude play it out as plain as day. I was like, okay, do these folks know that this is an Anunnaki right here? Like, do they not know who, does Jacob Paul not know who he's about to move up against? Does he not see who he's moving up against? And I'm seeing it as plain as day, like very loudly seeing it as plain as day. So, yeah. And then they said that he had a few teeth knocked out and he had to get surgery and he had to have 2 metal plates placed in his jawline. Yeah. No, it wasn't worth that. No. Yeah, I wouldn't have took that. I don't give a damn how much money's online. I wouldn't have took that. Now, you're going to see a lot more cleaning of the house because Jake Paul was a joke in boxing. Okay? He was a joke. People started losing respect for the sport after that whole thing between him and Tyson. Everybody knows that fight was definitely rigged. Okay? Even though it was supposed to be, I think, an exhibition fight or whatever, it was still rigged, right? Nonetheless, it put a lot of people in a certain space in terms of how they view boxing. So by this taking place, now this has kind of got people back hyped up again and getting back into sports, getting into the sport of boxing. Now, Jake Paul had put some stuff out, and I want to point this out to you as well. He had put some stuff out a while back, and he made the comment, he said, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but all boxing matches are rigged. I believe that. Do I think that this fight was rigged? I do not believe that that fight was rigged. I think it was time for his ass to go. And I think that they all knew that he was going to be the one to take his ass on up out of here. And I just feel like his contract was up. It was time for his ass to get the hell on up out of there. So they got his ass on up out of there by having an actual real fight. That's what I think happened there. I'm in Jamaica right now, so I can't watch like I want, but just hope that this live is being saved. Ha, it is. That was some get back for Tyson too. The sad thing with Tylil and Jordan is something else. The Saw thing, yeah. There's a video of AJ saying what you said about breaking him down with mind games. Yes, he's an Anunnaki, hands down. Hands down. His stature, his build, okay, his height, his head size, the jawline, the piercing eyes. I was like, yeah, nah. All Jake had to do was just say, you know what, let me just go ahead and throw in the white towel right now. Let me just save my face and the rest of my body. Because people are like, oh, come on, man. Why is it, Jake, I said, you guys don't understand that one hit from this guy, AJ, one punch from this dude, whether he's hitting different parts of your body or hitting you in your face, if he punches you in your chest or your shoulder, that's a lot of power that's hitting you that's going to knock the wind out of you. And not only is it going to knock the wind out of you, it's going to put you in some pain. I don't think that a lot of people understand that when you're dealing with boxers and their weight class, and I'm looking at how solid he is, when he walked up and did the face-to-face thing and I saw him towering over Jake, I said, Jesus God. I said, this Anunnaki about to whip his ass. He's about to drag Jake Paul throughout that damn ring. The smile on AJ's face right before the knockout punch, he knew it was a wrap. When he did this, and in the preview, before the fight even took place, when he did this and did it slow like that, that's Anunnaki shit right there. I'm telling y'all right now, that's Anunnaki warfare shit right there. So him talking about, I want to take out the soul, him doing this right here, if you could have got away with it, he'd have held Jake Paul's head up in the air and been like, yeah, that's what this is. Because that is a war general right there that you're looking at. That's an Anunnaki war general right there you're looking at. So I knew it was rap. Listen, remember that part now? He did this whole thing. And he did it slow too. He didn't do it fast. He did it like slow with it. I was like, yeah, that Gray about to get his ass beat. When I saw the musculature in his arms, the details, my first thought was unearthly and superhuman. Wow, it makes sense now. Yes. That's why I had to come on here and I had to do a live about it, because I'm like, y'all do know what you're looking at, right? Just in case you didn't know what you were looking at, let me get and tell you what you was looking at. That's what you was looking at when you look at it from a different lens, okay? Jake was trying to work with some warlock to help him when and AJ mentioned how if he could kill anyone in the ring, then he would. Yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah, that's Annunaki shit. That's literally everything this man is saying is literally Annunaki talk. Whoever his higher self is, that's a straight up and down Annunaki. That's a straight up and down Annunaki. The way he acted, his demeanor, the whole night, that was straight up and down Annunaki all day. And that's how they get down. And he was being nice when he said, we don't want to see, we would hope that the person would get up and this, that, and the third, but you never know what happens in the ring. But he basically told him, if I can get away with killing you, I'm going to kill you. That's Annunaki talk. That's it. Well, I knew he wasn't from here. Yeah, that was some other energy right there. That was some whole other energy y'all dealing with right there. And be prepared to see more things that's going to have y'all tripping. Be prepared to see more things that's going to have y'all tripping. You guys, if you guys just start paying attention and start discerning, okay, and really start paying attention, you're going to see different people coming up on the scene where, yes, they have these earthly bodies, but that's something else than that meat suit. Okay? Whatever that higher self is, that's that. That's what you're dealing with, that. Okay? It's crazy because when I seen the fight, I said, oh, Jacob about to get his butt whipped. Yes. That brother was smiling and that's when and this someone said this too. That brother was smiling the whole entire time. Yes, he was. Yes, he was smiling the whole time. I would have ran out. I would have ran out. So, yeah, thank God that the Jake Paul, now at this point, Jake Paul needs to go sit himself down now. He don't need to do no more boxing matches. Go sit down, fam. You did your time. You did your little thing. You had your little, you ran your chops and all that. You was that dude and all that, I guess, whatever. You definitely wasn't really representing boxing to me. It was a joke. But, okay, you did your thing. I need you to go sit down so that way you still have some more body parts. Because I'd hate to see him fight that dude again. And I still feel like that dude was playing with him. Like, it's kind of like, you know how lions like to play with their cubs? Because you see the size of a paw of a lion, right? And they smack the cub around, the cub goes, bloopy bloop. You're like, damn. And sometimes a mother will have to run up to the lion and check him, you know what I'm saying, for tagging them cubs like that too aggressively. Okay, it was like that. It was like, I'm just gonna play with you now. Because I know I'm about to knock your ass out. I'm just gonna play with you now. So it was like he was playing with the food. He was playing with him. It was a whole, I'll give it a couple of rounds to build the hype up, then I'm gonna knock his ass out. It was that, it was given that. Wow, so he was on that old Mesopotamian and Assyrian warrior mentality. Boom! Sunset 7, there it is. Now you got it, brother. Exactly. Okay? Straight Annunaki. Exactly. Straight pure power. You know what I'm saying? That's just what that was. Now, boy, I tell you, there's a lot going on around the world right now. There's a lot going on this planet right now. And they're hiding something heavily in the skies. There's something up there. They're hiding something. I don't know what they're hiding, but they're hiding something up there. And it seems to only show up at certain times of the day in certain regions of the United States. But I feel like they're hiding something in the skies. I've literally been seeing blankets of this unusual thick cloud cover. And I wanted to ask you guys about this because I've been seeing a lot of videos of this in different parts of the country of the United States. And I'm like, they are hiding something up there. And I guess they're going to try to do their best to hide it till they can't hide it anymore. But they are definitely pulling out the stops to hide something in that sky that they do not want the people to see. It's like a desperate attempt. It's almost like there's a combination of two different things here. There is a promotion of fear, energy still, but they're losing their grip so much that now they're resorting to other things because they're losing their grip so much because of all the work that's being done on the planet. They're just losing their grip left and right. Okay? But I'm telling y'all, I'm getting this weird vibe that there's something that they're hiding up in those skies. Selfit, what's going on? I'm out here in Long Beach, California. It happens around 4 p.m. Has anyone been seeing faces in the skies? It is interesting. Yeah, have you guys been seeing? That's all I see at night here in Florida. They said it was crazy down here in Mississippi for the past week. Okay, there's something they're doing. They're hiding life, yeah. Yes, I don't see the sun anymore. They released a UFO satellite December 18th, a part of the 3-Eye Atlas hoax. Yeah, I'm not paying no attention to that crap. I see lights that move around in New York City. Mama been having that same feeling yesterday. I was riding on the motorcycle and I seen the light busting through the sky with the sun right next to it. It's so foggy in Cali, but when I walk outside, it disappears and becomes sunny. Interesting. I have seen that too. A few nights ago, I noticed it. I got the pics, Isis. That fog is really moist. Someone said, oh my God. Yeah, I'm not going into all that. Okay. All right, so I've been seeing faces and large beings in the skies since last year. Down in Florida, there was, Conscious Juice had posted a video of a face in the sky, and that face that was shown in the sky was of a gray. The Greys did that on purpose to try to instill fear, okay? Then, next thing you know, you see all these planes coming out of nowhere trying to cover all the stuff up because so many people were seeing it and taking pictures of it and filming it and all that kind of stuff. So you saw all these different, there was like 7 or 8 of these damn planes that were out there spraying to try to cover up what the Greys were actually trying to project out into the clouds, into the sky so that people wouldn't fall into panic, okay? All of this, it's like being in a video game. I want you guys to understand that. It's like being in a video game. It's like there's lots of lessons for you to learn as you reach to different levels, and there's different things that you're going to see, and there's different understandings that's going to come into you. Okay? Smurfette, all you got to do is send them send them in my DMs and then send me and then tag me or leave me a message on the page and tell me to check my DMs and I'll go check them. A video game 100%. Crazy because I ain't seen them spray for a minute and they sure were the other day. It's the winter time and I see the sun, but it's been very hazy and cloudy in the Midwest or just super cloudy. All right. So there's a couple of things that's going on here. There's a couple of things that's going on here. But I think that they've lost so much power and lost their grip so much that the only thing that keeps them floating at this point is the NPCs. The NPCs and those who have gotten to a space in their healing where they realize there's nothing that they need to fear. Now, I want to share some things with you that I learned recently. I have been on a nature retreat, and I actually just completed it, and there was a lot of work that I had to do in that nature retreat. So you could say I spent a lot of time in nature to the point to where I have been bitten up by mosquitoes left and right. I had to, that was so annoying. Whew, that was so annoying. I just want to get it Satan for that so bad, for creating them damn creatures. He told me he did it too. I was like, Lord have mercy. But nonetheless, I've spent a lot of time out in nature. And I've been bit up, but overriding that was the amount of downloads and the amount of things I've learned since being on that nature retreat. And I'm going to post pictures and I'm going to post videos. I have been in some of the most ancient of places. I have had the opportunity to communicate with those who are living in different planes, if you will. So let me share something with y'all. There are some beings that are called to come and do work on the planet, and then there are a lot of beings that are here, or a lot of people that are here because they fell all the way down to the dimension that they're currently operating in. Okay? There is truly an underworld. Now, what I'm about to say is probably going to trip y'all out, so I want you to, it really gives a whole new meaning of duality and so above, so below. It really gives a whole different meaning to it how I'm going to explain this to you. So if there's 999 dimensions to climb up, the same also exists to go down. Okay? Yeah, I just recently found that out. I didn't realize that it was that deep. Okay? The underworld that exists is literally under the world that most people that have not elevated themselves are currently living in this underworld. It looks like, you know how it looks like the sun is getting ready to rise, but like it never does. It looks like that. So it looks like when it first gets ready to rise, like it's dark and it first gets ready to rise, but you just see just that part of it, but you don't see nothing else, like the sun never raises up and gets to another level. Yeah, that right there. The earth that people are currently living in at this time is considered to be what we call an in-between version of Earth. Now, there's different types of in-betweens. I want you to understand what I'm saying here. I don't want you to get confused. All right? There is an in-between that people get sent to when they come under judgment. And then there's the in-between version of Earth. So it's the version where you're allowed to see the sun, where you're allowed to see blue skies and things of that nature. But there's other versions of Earth. Now, I had to ask Source a couple times, and I was like, so you're saying that I volunteered to come here to do these missions here on this particular, and I'm going to show you proof and evidence of this. Did any of you start to ask yourself critical thinking questions like, if Egypt was that technologically advanced, with the fallen Annunaki, because keep in mind, that's the fallen Annunaki version of Egypt. Okay? If you guys you start really studying history without Caucasian influence, this is going to require you to go within. This is going to require you to tap into any ancestors that you may have that can come and speak to you, for those that have the ability to hear and you have the ability to see. This is going to require you to actually go to the ancient sites, call forth any aspects or ancestors that you have that exist in your bloodline, and talk to them and get the real information. Okay? You have to get the real information, because you have to understand there's been a concerted effort for these people that try to say that they've been here longer than what they actually been here. And I've already told y'all they've been here for 800 years. They haven't even been here for 6,000 years. They've been here for 800 years. Okay? So because of that and all the whitewashing and all the stuff that they've done, you cannot trust the information written in those books. You're going to have to go inward, and you're going to have to talk to your ancestors, or you're going to have to talk to the versions of yourself that were there during that time to get the real information. Okay? So when you start tapping in on that level, and you start, because you were there, and you start talking to that version of yourself to find out more information, it really gives a whole different perspective about everything. Everything that you thought that you knew. And what I'm realizing is that the more that I know, the more I realize I really don't know anything at all. Like, I really don't know anything at all. This world never ceases to amaze me. The experiences that I'm having never ceases to amaze me. The expansion that I'm receiving really has shifted my outlook on so many different things. And spending in nature as much time as I have, especially when you're doing work, you jump a lot of timelines. You jump a whole lot of time. I mean, hella timelines. Okay? In some cases, you'll jump dimensions depending on the type of work that you're doing. Okay? I told y'all, when you spend time with Gaia and you stay in tune with her, you can naturally gravitate to higher dimensions just by simply healing and being in tune with nature. You can just simply do that and get into higher dimensions. But it is going to require you to heal. I put pictures up of the Tulum ruins. That's on my Instagram right now. If you guys get a chance, check out the videos and the pictures I posted up. And I was seeing something totally different than what everybody else was seeing. So while I was there, I had some very interesting experiences with some of the iguanas that was there. There were iguanas all up and through that place. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Because of the frequency that Earth is currently operating on right now, you wouldn't be able to see them in their true form, which are dragons, unless you had your first eye. So as I'm walking through the Tulum ruins, I'm seeing it's how they're posted. So like there's one above when I'm first walking in, like there's a portal. It's like when you first walk into Tulum ruins, you go through this portal. And right before you go through this portal, there's an iguana sitting there, but it's the way the iguana looked that had me bugging the hell out. Because I'm like, what kind of iguana? That thing looked like a whole warrior. So you go in, and as I'm going in, and it's like you walk in, and it's like a portal, and it's like you walk in, and it's like the energy just shifts. The energy completely shifts out. So the energy that's outside of it is totally different than the energy inside of it. And I started really getting some insight as to how technologically advanced that these people actually are. And I was seeing things from a whole different perspective. So as I'm traveling, as I'm seeing all these different iguanas and how they're positioned and stationed inside the place, I remember the tour guy was speaking about Kukulkan. And he was talking about how, there was stories, or what do you call it, folklore. They always want to try to downplay everything because they don't want to really say what it really is, right? Because there's people around that were operating on a 3D level that wouldn't understand certain levels. So as the guy's breaking stuff down, I chime in on him. And I said, this is the same place that the Queen of the Mayans lived. This is her kingdom. And his eyes got really, 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 really big. His eyes got super big. And he was you could tell he was processing, and he was trying to figure out, where are you getting this? Where are you getting this from? Right? So he said, there was a female ruler here. He says, and most of your rulers were all female. And he spoke about this ruler. And he tried to play it off, but it didn't work for me because I already knew what time it was. I'm like, you ain't going to run no game on me because I got Myron children that you can't see that I'm talking to right now. As I'm on this tour, we're being accompanied by the Mayan children with me as we're going all throughout that thing. I'm talking to them, right? So it gets to this part where he's talking about Kukulkan. And there's a specific way when I speak light language that I will call him in because I talk to Kukulkan. Okay? Kukulkan is a dragon. Most people do not know this, but he is a dragon. That's first and foremost. And he does have an underwater kingdom. And he was explaining to me that where he's at in Chichen Itza, like I put the pictures up there of Chichen Itza, how there are portals that are connected from there all the way down to the Tulum ruins, which I thought was really interesting. So when they travel through the portals and then they come there. But I also found out that this was also a part of his territory. I said, oh. I said, so you're the one that's got these dragons stationed around this whole area. He says, exactly. And you can see these iguanas and you can see how they look. And you can tell just by looking at them that these were like commanders. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling y'all, you had to be there to see it. It's just something you have to be there to see it. Okay. It was very magical. You know, you can say, oh, Isis, you have such a great imagination. Well, let me explain something to you about the imagination. The imagination is where all your power comes from. Your inner child. When you tap into your inner child, that's how you access your magic. So now I'm seeing with my first eye. So as I'm traveling, I'm seeing bigger size dragons there. And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So they're like at every part, every entrance way, or even when you're leaving out, they are stationed there and they run scans on everybody coming through and everybody leaving out. And I said, damn, this is deep. And I wanted to share it to y'all. So if you guys ever get a chance to go down to the Tulum ruins in Mexico, you should spend time and you should go and you should just open up your eyes and you should just see. You should just take a look at it and just see. It's very beautiful. It's very stunning there. The energy is just breathtaking. The views of the ocean is breathtaking. And then we were just learning so much about the culture of the Mayans. You know what I'm saying? We were learning about the children. We were learning about their towers, their watchtowers, and just how they do things. And they was explaining to us like different temples and what they were used for. And I just thought it was so interesting. But I tell you, I'm gonna share this with you. Magic is nothing new. It's been going on for a very long time. Whether it's dark magic or it's white magic, it's been going on for a long time. Seals and sigil magic's been going on for a long time. Okay? This isn't anything new. When I tell you it's been going on for a long time, it's been going on for a long time. And what I'm going to say to you guys is that I'm going to say this again. The world does not operate the way that you think that it does. At all. On no level. This world is full of magic. It's full of spells. It's full of sorcery. It's full of wonder. It's full of joy. It's full of sadness. It's full of pain. It's full of illusionary magic. And it's also full of distortion. And if you are trained enough with the eye and the heart space to be able to siphon through all of that stuff so you can really get a chance to see what you need to see, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I really got a chance to understand the advancedness of the people, how advanced they are. So then you have to critically ask yourself, okay, if these people were that advanced to create the things that they created, then why is the story being told to us in the way that it's being told to us? So what is this place? This particular earth that we're living on, what is this place? Is this part of the underworld? Is this part of the quote unquote upside down? Is this the in out? Is this the inverted world? Because it appears to me that we see all these cell phones and all this stuff as if it's something new when we already have proof that these things have already existed on this planet long before we ever got a hold of this stuff. So these things already existed. So then where the hell are we? Are we in the past? Are we in the future? Where exactly are we? Are we looking at a bunch of merging different timelines or different merging dimensions of various different things that happen during certain time periods at the same time as we are in existence? At Gemini said, let me explain something to you. And the fact that you even said that is crazy work to me. You said, I firmly believe I'm just in hell now. I don't know how much higher I'm supposed to attempt to vibrate. Well, let me break something down to you. First of all, there were 33 dimensions on Earth. Now there's more dimensions on the Earth because she's expanding herself. But let's just say we'll stick to the 33 dimensions to help you out. If there's 33 dimensions on Earth, and you're operating between the fourth and the fifth, then clearly that means that you have not vibrated nearly enough. That naturally comes when you decide to take your healing seriously. And not only do you vibrate high, but you also expand, and you also expand your consciousness. You got to understand, if you've been programmed with lots of programs of limitation, of course you would think this way. Of course you would. You still have yet to understand that you're a living quantum computer. Yes, you can delete your cache. Yes, you can clear out old programs. I do it all the time for clients. Okay, SGK says, past, present, and future are all happening at the same time, right? Is it? Is it? Is the past, present, and future all going on at the same time? You don't think that we should be way more technologically advanced than what we are? I mean, look at all the people, look at the beings who's done everything in their power. And I want y'all to pay attention. Look at the beings who've done everything in their power to keep humanity held back from moving towards the future. How far along could we actually be? Because we're supposed to be way more far along than what we are. You still have these old folks out here in positions of power that are still mining oil from the earth when we have free energy out here. So why do you think that stuff is still being done in a very non-forwarding, non-productive way for the evolution of humanity? Why do you think this is being done? Do you think that where you're at is considered to be the future? Some of you should have already surpassed this earth. Why haven't you? Was on the walk the other day and heard that the Most High has so many dimensions because every choice is played out in each. The timelines merge and are created at the same time. Yeah, COVID didn't take out enough of those old folks. We were set back after the deluge. We were way much more advanced before. Where do you think that knowledge of technology went to? Do you think that it's something that you don't have access to? Or do you think that the information is stored within? And that if you wanted to create something, all you had to do is just come back to remembrance of who you are and what you've done and what you actually have the ability to do to contribute to society. No, it says we were taught to live in present. That messed us up. No, it didn't. You're supposed to always live in the present. The problem is, Smurfette, is that too many of you live in your past, and that's what messed y'all up. Not being present is what prevents you from moving forward. Most people live in their past. Most people aren't even present enough to even be aware of a lot of stuff that's going on around them because there's so much stuff going on around you at all times. So you have to be present. Being present allows you to go into the flow state. Going into the flow state allows you to enjoy the natural surprises that life has to offer. But if you're not present enough to catch these things, you're going to miss those things that open up for you. Those little loopholes, those little gates of opportunities, you're going to miss that because you weren't present enough to catch it. Okay? So for those of you that love to smoke weed, you're not present. You're not going to catch anything. Okay? Those of you who like to drink a lot, you're not present, you're not going to catch anything. Those of you who are very busy, constantly busy, you're going to miss a lot. Even when people come to you and give you cues, you're still missing the cues because you're too busy focused on whatever's in front of you in the moment. Okay? So you have to learn how to balance yourself out in order for you to catch those special moments or opportunities or doors that will open up to you for you to expand on certain levels. You're going to miss it. You know how many times I've been on assignments to reach out to certain people. Reached out to them, explained to them what it is that they need to do, and got the hell on. Now, or I've had conversations with people. They said certain things. I shared certain jewels with them. They didn't catch it. Some people feel like they have all the time in the world, and they don't. Some people forget what's being told. They weren't present. Some people are even arrogant enough to think that they're always going to have the opportunity, to always going to be available to them. That's stupid. Life doesn't operate like that. And sometimes you can miss out on an opportunity that may not come back around to you again another 20 years. Now, the real question you got to ask yourself is, do you have another 20 years to wait for that opportunity to come back around again? Films and telephones, our biggest advances, literally copying off of your quantum intelligence. Boom. Aurora Borealis awaken. Boom, boom. Weed is okay when you're not doing it every day. Weed becomes not okay when you're not present. When you're not present, that's when it becomes an issue. Now, someone says, what's your thoughts on a new movie called The Disclosure Day? So let me break this down for you real quick. Oh my God. What are you going to find out when you find out we're not alone? I need you to watch the main characters and who's playing who's the main characters in this movie. I want you to pay very close attention to this. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you one of the biggest secrets. I'm going to tell you flat out what one of the biggest secrets are. Okay? We know we're cosmic beings. We know who we are. But I feel like I was gonna do this live, and I don't want the wrong energy being placed on what I'm saying here. It's just revealing certain information. It's not to disparage anyone, make anybody feel bad. None of that type of stuff. But I wanted to do a live titled Where the Origins of white people. Where did they come from? The true story of where they come from. Okay? And if you guys understand that this is a newer race of people on this planet, they are the newest race on this planet. Everybody else is old as hell. We've been here for a long time. Okay? They are the newest race of people on the planet. The newest race of people. I remember you guys putting out this thing. I read a book about the story of Yaqub. And Yaqub is not who you think that he is. Okay? Yaqub was just another name for Satan. Now, I want you guys to understand, Satan doesn't look like a horns, and a demon face and all that. That's not what Satan looks like. He does not look anything like that. Does he look like one of us? Yes, he does. Is he an angel? Yes, he is. He was created to be an inverter, just like Lucifer was created to be an inverter. Husband and wife, they were created to be inverters, to have in place what Source calls duality. And they're not the only ones. I need to expand your consciousness a little bit, because if you understand what I'm saying to you, when I speak these things and I say these things to you, I'm speaking from a whole different level. I do not operate in the space of fear. Okay? Although that is the tactics that they will use on individuals who are under that religious programming. Oh, they'll tear them people's asses up all day because they can. But what happens when you come across a goddess that is in the know, or a god that is in the know? We don't operate like that. That's not the way we don't, there shouldn't be any fear placed on any of this anymore. When I teach you guys certain things and I explain certain things to you from a cosmic perspective, that's the way you now need to look at it now. You have got to remove the religious programming off of the things that I'm teaching you. Because if not, you're going to miss the cues, you're going to miss the teachings, you're not going to understand stuff, you're going to run down the block with religious programming, and then you're going to block yourself off from expanding your consciousness. I want to just put that disclaimer out there ahead of time. Okay? When the flood came, 3 bulls raised from the water, 1 white, that went out into the world to cause corruption. That's not how that happened. That is all cap. Okay? Again, any religious teachings that you were pulling from, I'm going to ask you to remove it. Because if I was to sit there and break some things down to you about who really wrote that book, it would poop yourself. Okay? You guys got to understand who King James was. King James, who wrote the Bible, is the same King James who wrote the book Demonology. Go look it up for yourself. It's the same King James. His higher self, meaning his soul spark of who King James is and was Satan. Lucifer didn't come into the picture to add things in and take things out until 200 years ago. And the original being that actually wrote the book and distorted it, well, I'll leave that for another time. It's going to blow your wig all the way out back I'll have to explain to you another time. Okay? But I want you guys to understand there was a force that was much greater and more powerful than them. I need you to understand this. You have to start thinking from a duality perspective. This force, okay, was also an inverted force created by Source to create duality. So, massive cosmic intelligence, but inverted and dealing with other inverted beings. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down now. So when you look at things good and bad and things like that, well, is it good and bad or is it just simply duality? That's the question you got to start asking yourself now. You have to start asking this. You have to start asking all these questions because I'm going to get back to my point. Caucasians are grays, period. They have a lot of their aspects that are grays. What you see when you look at white folks, what you see is exactly how the grays looked before they decided to start doing all these experimentations upon themselves. This is what they look like. Satan did not create them in the inner earth as the story would suggest. When they talk about Yaqub, that was all cap. Satan created them on planet Nern. He is the one who created the species of the gray. That is his creation. Period. That is their father. That is their maker. That is who they are. Now, I want to get into the Jesus teachings and all that, but I'm gonna leave that from a different day. I know another day I'm gonna have to do that like on a Zoom or something like that, because some of you people ain't ready for that truth about who he really is. Some of y'all not ready for that. Okay? Some of y'all are seriously not ready for that. But I want you guys to understand that religion has been the number one thing that's been controlling the minds of the people on the planet. That being said, this is part of the reason why the planet's been set back so much, because people are still in that programming, and it has set humanity back tremendously. If I was to tell y'all who Allah really is, it would blow your damn wig back. And they played in a lot of people's faces, so a lot of people had to die. See, you have to start questioning things when you start seeing the energy of death and fear mixed in with something that's supposed to be spiritual. Religion is about control. If you don't believe in this God here, you're going to go straight to hell. You're going to hell. Fear. Anytime when you mix in any type of the energy of fear with spirituality, you are going to mess yourself up every single time. Religion itself is a program designed to keep you locked in a box so you don't tap in to your source self, meaning the spark that gives you life. You don't actually tune into that version of yourself so you can begin to start rising and expanding your consciousness. You are stuck inside this whole loophole, not understanding that there are plenty of gods out here in the world that the Most High has created to do different tasks. If you Negroes sit up here and think that Olodumare and Ashere are going to use their hands and use themselves to do anything, you Negroes got the game twisted. They delegate. And everybody has an assignment throughout the cosmos to make things happen, including okay? Rulers, so to speak, delegate. Kings and queens, they delegate. Gods and goddesses, they delegate. Creators that make creations, they delegate. This has been going on since the beginning of the beginning. That's okay. Religion usurps imagination and profits of source. Allow them to be stuck because they haven't went through the necessary. Listen, your job here is not to convince anybody of anything. When I put information out there, my job is not to convince you of anything. It's to turn you on to new information. Now, it's your job to learn more. So when we go back and we talk about the movie, it's going to be very interesting to see what Steven Spielberg does with this, but at the same time, I'm not impressed. I'm not really impressed. And I'm not impressed only because of the simple fact that these types of movies are put out every so many years, and everybody makes it this big mystery. And I'm just over that whole thing in terms of that. So if he comes out with it this way, great. If not, let me go ahead and spill the beans. Not only are we not alone, what you've been looking for and what you've been looking at is also yourselves. It's nothing new under the sun. When they put these movies out to create this big hype, like, oh my God, we're not alone, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. I can't really get into it. I can't do nothing with it. I'm a cosmic being. I know that we're not alone. So I can't really get into stuff like that. All right, guys, I got to go. IG got a timer on me. Peace and blessings.